The end came not with silence, but with thunder. Black Sabbath, the architects of heavy metal. The sound that shook the very foundations of modern rock. The legends who emerged from the smoke and steel of Birmingham to rewrite the rules of music itself. And on Saturday night, at Villa Park in their hometown, they closed the final chapter. The last riff, the final howl, one final scream into the night, and the crowd answered with all the devotion, fury, and reverence that 4 generations of fans had carried in their souls for over 5 decades. This wasn't just a concert. This wasn't just a farewell. This was history vibrating through the air, through every scream, every chord, every tear in the eyes of those who had waited a lifetime to say goodbye. They opened with fire. They closed with fury. And somewhere in between, Black Sabbath gave everything they had left to the people who gave them everything from the beginning. And at the heart of it all, was Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne. The madman. The voice. The Prince of Darkness. He sat on a black throne. Not because he wanted to, but because Parkinson's disease has tested him, tormented him, threatened to rob him of what he loves most. And yet, he did not surrender. He roared. Seated, yes, but not subdued. He still stared into the crowd with those wild, electric eyes. Still bellowed into the night like a man possessed. Still commanded the stage like it was his kingdom, because it was. Villa Park, Birmingham. The place where football legends rise. On this night, it became a cathedral of metal. A temple to sound. A sacred place where the gods came down one last time to deliver their sermon in distortion and thunder. The crowd knew every word. Every note. Every pulse. When the opening riff of Iron Man rang out, it wasn't just music. It was memory. It was myth. It was a global language spoken by everyone in the arena. Ozzy didn't just sing, he conjured. He channeled the spirit of the band that turned darkness into glory. The fans sang with him, roared with him, drowned him in their love. He raised his hands like a preacher calling on the faithful, his voice worn but full of fight, his presence undiminished. And the crowd, they lifted him higher. Every chorus a prayer, every shout a declaration. Tony Iommi stood beside him, his fingers crafting the sound that changed the world. Riffs that felt like black magic, riffs that still sent shivers through the spine. Geezer Butler on bass, steady as ever, the heartbeat of the apocalypse. Every thump of the strings a reminder of the dark, heavy pulse of this band's soul. Drums that shook the concrete beneath. Lights that split the sky. This wasn't just a gig. It was a war cry. A celebration. A funeral and a festival rolled into one massive, electrifying moment. Black Sabbath didn't fade away. They detonated. Fans wept. Fans screamed. Fans fell silent between songs because they knew they were living through something sacred. The last Sabbath show. The end of the beginning. The closing of a circle that started in this very city more than 50 years ago. The band that began in working-class Birmingham, forged in smoke, hardship, and rebellion, had come full circle. And Ozzy, the man many thought wouldn't live to see this day, stood tall even while seated. Sing louder. He roared, not begging but commanding, and the arena shook as if the very ghosts of metal past had joined in. He cracked smiles. He snarled. He let the madness creep back into his expressions. The showmanship that made him an icon hadn't left him. It never would. It was raw. It was real. It was everything. No pyrotechnic trick or over-polished illusion. Just pure, visceral energy. This is what it meant to be part of the Sabbath family. You felt the music in your bones. And this, their final performance, wasn't some clean, corporate farewell tour. It was brutal. It was emotional. It was alive. Even as time has weighed on them, even as illness and age press in, they still brought the fire. They honored the darkness, embraced it, gave the world permission to love it. And in doing so, they changed the way we hear music. They changed the way we feel it. They gave permission for imperfection, for chaos, for shadow. They gave it a sound. They called it Black Sabbath. And now, as the last chord fades, as the last shout echoes across Birmingham, the world says thank you. Thank you for the riffs. The rebellion. The refusal to conform. Thank you for showing us that anger can be art. That pain can be power. That noise can be salvation. This wasn't just a band ending. It was an era ending. An era defined by raw power, truth-telling, and sonic thunder. For every teenager who found solace in a Sabbath track. For every outcast who heard their pain reflected back in Paranoid. For every late-night drive scored by war pigs. For every broken heart healed by the pulse of children of the grave. This was for you. And for Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, this was their final bow to the world that made them gods. The stage lights dimmed. The crowd roared one last time. And somewhere in that roar was gratitude. Grief. Glory. Black Sabbath went out exactly how they came in, loud, unapologetic,